Now.
This is Oswego. We're at the Ledger Sentinal right now, where the newspapers are published. As we go inside, we're going to talk to some of the editors.
Alright, like how old is...
Well, that guy right there is Roger Matileabout, and he's the editor of the paper, and he's also the local historian here,
cool.
so he can tell you all about it.
Alright.
How long has this city of Oswego been around?
The city, or how long has the area been settled?
The city.
Okay, the city was laid out in 1834.
1834?
Yeah.
Who's the first mayor of the city?
I believe it was a man by the name of Chapman, but I'm not entirely sure. I can look it up for you, though. Find out.
When was the village settled?
The first settlers came here looking for land in 1832 and liked what they saw. And then the next year, 1833, is when they came back.
What year did this come from a post office to a newspaper?
Well, it was a lot of things in between. It was the post office first, but then it turned into the library for the whole town. And then after that, there were a number of businesses in here, decorating businesses and all kinds of things. And the last people that were in here was an orthodontist. And we moved here, what?
A year ago in December.
December.
You can tell them.
What was...
The jail used to be back here, too.
The jail.
Didn't they have the jail back here?
Yeah, in the alley. The jail used to be behind the building here.
Oh, wow. What do you think was the Ledger's biggest story?
Ooh. Either the flood of 1996 or the tornado of, is that 1990?
1990, the tornado, that was a big...
Those were the two biggest stories, probably.
How long, like how many years has this building been around?
This building was built probably about 1872.
So this building is probably one of the oldest office buildings in Oswego then.
It's one of them. The All-American Mail Building that's over across, that's even older than this one. That was built in the 1840s.
When the tornado struck Oswego, did it destroy most of the city?
No, it actually downtown here there wasn't a whole lot of damage. Cars that were parked out on Main Street had their back windows and windshields broken out by the hail that came down. But most of the damage was down along North Adams Street, if you know where Troy Park is. All the trees were knocked down there, and then the tornado went kind of diagonally through Cedar Glen and knocked down a lot of trees there. It hit the intersection of Route 71 and Route 34 and destroyed a video store out there and flipped some cars over that were waiting at the stoplight and stuff. And then it sort of headed across country and destroyed a lot of houses out in the country.
When the tornado was done striking Oswego, how long did it take to rebuild this place?
Oh, there wasn't all that much damage, so within a few months, I'd say, things were pretty much back to normal.
Was there any damage during the flood?
Mostly people's basements flooding, although the Walbonsie Creek Bridge on North Adams Street was knocked right off its foundation, and so that's a new bridge that was built after the flood.
Oh, wow.
There were some roads out in the country. Douglas Road was washed out entirely. A culvert was just completely washed away, and it was closed for quite a while, and so was I think Plainfield Road was closed out by Johnson Road for a while as well.
Was the Ledger Sentinal the first official village newspaper?
No. The first newspaper in town here was the Kendall County Courier, and it was published starting in 1852. And it published here for several years, and then Oswego at that time was the county seat. Courthouse was here. The courthouse was located over where the bank and the post office are now. When the county seat moved back to Yorkville in 1864, then the newspaper here went out of business for a while. There were some tries to start newspapers on and off for the next several years until the Oswego Ledger got started in 1949. And then in 1974, the Fox Valley Sentinal was established. So there were two newspapers in town, the Oswego Ledger and the Fox Valley Sentinel. And then in 1980, the two papers merged into the Ledger Sentinel. So since then, we've just had one paper in town.
Now, when before the village was settled, like, do you know what Indian tribes or?
The Indians that lived around here right about that time of settlement in the 1830s were the Potawatomi, the Ottawa, and the Chippewa. They were all related tribes, and they were called the Three Fires Confederacy. And Chief Wabansi, who the Wabansi Creek is named after, Oswego was one of his kind of favorite camping places. His permanent village was located a little bit north of here. It would move up and down the river valley because when their cornfields played out after they'd been there for a while, they just pick up and move their permanent village to a new location and start farming new fields.
Who was the one who, the single person who first, like, discovered Oswego?
Let's see, the first settlers here were the Pierce family. There was John, and Walter, and Daniel Pierce, and their brother-in-law, William Wilson. And William Wilson's cabin was built right at the intersection of Route 34 and Route 25 up here, at Five Corners. So his house was really the first one built in the village.
Process of moving.
Alright.
It's coming Monday, but I have to stop the mail.
Alright, this is our last question. What future do you think the Ledger Sentinel has? Like, how long do you think the Ledger Sentinel will be the paper of Oswego?
Well, for the foreseeable future, I would say. Other newspapers have tried to come into town, but they haven't been successful. And we keep growing all the time. We're up to, our circulation now is up well over 8,000 just in the Oswego area. So I think we'll be here for quite a while.
Alright. Well, thanks for the interview.
Sure.
Alright.